For a few seconds, it becomes the most valuable object on Earth, not because of its gold, but because billions of people would give everything to hold it. And yet, this trophy has been stolen, hidden beneath a bed, lost forever, and replaced. The stadium falls silent for a single heartbeat. Then one player lifts golden trophy toward the sky and billions of people celebrate together. To the world, it is the ultimate symbol of victory, a testament to greatness. But few know that this trophy has survived war, theft, disappearance, and one of the greatest mysteries in sports history. And perhaps the most surprising truth of all is that the trophy every champion dreams of lifting today is not the first World Cup trophy. For almost a century, one simple object has witnessed wars, miracles, impossible victories, and heartbreaking defeats. And somehow, its greatest story has almost been forgotten. Yet the reason FIFA replaced the original trophy changed football history forever. Some objects become more than objects. They become symbols. A FIFA World Cup trophy is not just made of gold and malachite. Known officially as the FIFA World Cup Trophy, it has become the most recognizable prize in world football. It carries the fear, hope, sacrifice, loss, and dreams of every generation that has ever chased it. Through decades of confetti, tears, roaring crowds, and children dreaming in the streets, this single object has held the weight of the world. But how did a small, fragile sculpture become the most desired prize on Earth? To uncover its story, we must travel back to a world that had forgotten how to hope. Before the trophy could unite the world itself would fall into chaos. In the aftermath of the First World War, Europe was a fractured landscape of grief and ruined empires. Borders were redrawn in blood. Nations viewed each other through the lens of deep, unforgiving resentment. In this atmosphere of profound division, a French visionary named Jules Rimet harbored an idea that many considered not just impossible, but absurd. He believed that young men from rival nations should meet not on battlefields, but on fields of grass. He believed that a simple game of football could do what politicians and treaties could not. Many laughed at the idea. Some considered it naive. History would prove it revolutionary. Unite the world. To anchor this impossible dream, Rimet commissioned a prize. It was not a massive, intimidating cup, but a delicate 14-inch statuette crafted from gold-plated sterling silver. It depicted Nike, the ancient Greek goddess of victory, bearing an octagonal cup above her head. It was elegant. It was fragile. It represented a fragile hope for a new era of global brotherhood. For a brief, shining decade, the Jules Rimet Trophy traveled across oceans, bringing nations together in a shared celebration of human potential. But the peace it represented was an illusion. Before the trophy could truly cement its legacy, it escaped an army only to disappear years later in plain sight. As the 1930s drew to a close, the shadow of a second, far more devastating global conflict fell over the world. The World Cup was suspended. The stadiums emptied. The young men who had chased a leather ball were now handed rifles. In 1939, the reigning champions were Italy, which meant the Golden Goddess resided in Rome. As the war escalated and the Nazi regime began plundering the art and treasures of Europe, the trophy became a target. It was locked away in a bank vault. But as the conflict deepened, a vault was no longer safe. Autorino Barossi, an Italian football official, knew that if the occupying forces found the trophy, it would be melted down to fund the war machine. In an act of quiet, terrifying defiance, Barossi walked into the bank, withdrew the most famous sports prize on Earth, and carried it home in secret. He did not bury it in the woods. He chose the last place anyone would ever think to search. Sometimes history survives not because of armies, but because of ordinary courage. He did not lock it in a steel safe. Instead, he placed the Golden Goddess inside an old shoebox and slid it under his bed. For years, as sirens wailed and soldiers marched through the streets of Rome, the ultimate symbol of global unity sat gathering dust in a cramped apartment. Gestapo officers even searched his home, walking mere inches from the prize they sought. They never thought to look under the mattress. For years, the future of football rested beneath an ordinary bed, protected only by the courage of one quiet man. The trophy survived the darkest chapter of the 20th century, yet it escaped an army only to vanish entirely in a time of peace. The year was 1966. The swinging 60s were in full motion, and England was preparing to host the World Cup. To build anticipation, the Jules Rimet Trophy was placed on public display at a stamp exhibition in Westminster Central Hall. It was guarded around the clock, but on a quiet Sunday in March, during a church service in another part of the building, the impossible happened. The display case was forced open. The golden goddess was gone. Panic gripped London. Scotland Yard launched one of the most frantic investigations in its history. The disappearance of the trophy was a profound national embarrassment for England. Ransom notes arrived. Suspects were interrogated. The world watched in disbelief as the greatest detectives in the country chased shadows. The trophy seemed lost forever. A week later, a man named David Corbett was walking his dog in a quiet suburban neighborhood in South London. The dog, a black and white collie mix named Pickles, began sniffing curiously at a newspaper wrapped parcel hidden beneath a hedge. Corbett nudged it with his foot. He peeled back the paper, expecting a bomb or discarded trash. Instead, he saw the names of the winners engraved on the bottom of a golden base. The greatest trophy in football. The prize that had survived a world war and evaded the finest minds of Scotland Yard was found by someone who never knew its value. Pickles became an international hero. Millions celebrated a dog who had unknowingly preserved one of humanity's greatest sporting symbols. Sometimes history changes because someone was simply curious enough to stop and look. The trophy was returned. The tournament was played, and the world breathed a collective sigh of relief. But football history still had one final promise to fulfill. Since the inception of the tournament, Jules Rimet had established a legendary rule. Any nation that won the World Cup 3 times would earn the right to keep the golden goddess forever. By 1970, the world's attention turned to the blinding sun and high altitude of Mexico. The tournament was a collision of titans, but one team stood above the rest: Brazil, led by Pelé, a man who had become the living embodiment of the sport. The Brazilian squad of 1970 played with a rhythm and joy that felt almost supernatural. They were not just winning matches. They were elevating football to high art. When the final whistle blew in the Azteca Stadium, Brazil had secured their third world championship. The image of the Brazilian captain lifting the Jules Rimet Trophy was broadcast in vibrant color across the globe. It was a moment of absolute immortality. For millions of Brazilians, it was never just a trophy. And for millions beyond Brazil, it became proof that football could produce moments capable of transcending language, culture, and borders. It became proof that joy, talent, and imagination could conquer the world. The trophy was flown to Rio de Janeiro, where it was placed in a specially designed cabinet with bulletproof glass at the headquarters of the Brazilian Football Confederation. It had finally found its permanent home. It was a conquest that felt eternal. No one imagined that football's greatest treasure was about to vanish forever. On a humid night in December 1983, a small group of men broke into the Brazilian Football Confederation. They bypassed the security guards. They approached the bulletproof display case that held the Jules Rimet Trophy. The glass was impenetrable, but the wooden frame holding it was not. With a simple crowbar, they pried the frame apart and reached inside. When morning broke, the golden goddess was gone. The ensuing investigation was desperate, but the trail went cold. Unlike the theft in London, there was no ransom note. There was no miraculous discovery beneath a hedge. As the weeks turned into months, a devastating consensus emerged among investigators. The thieves had not stolen the trophy to sell it to a collector. They had stolen it for the gold. The original Jules Rimet Trophy, the sculpture that had survived the Second World War in a showbox, the prize that Pelé had wept over, was believed to have been melted down into gold bars and sold on the black market. The irony was almost unbearable. The trophy that survived a world war could not survive peace. It was never recovered. The physical object ceased to exist. Its disappearance became a haunting metaphor for the fragility of memory. We build monuments to make our triumphs permanent, only to realize that nothing made of metal can truly last forever. Yet, in its absence, the Jules Rimet Trophy achieved a different kind of immortality. Some legends are remembered precisely because they were lost. While one legend disappeared forever, another was about to be born. With the original trophy now the permanent property of Brazil, even before it was stolen, the world needed a new symbol. But contrary to what millions of fans believe, FIFA did not redesign the World Cup trophy simply to create a more modern look. The real reason was far more practical and far more symbolic. The Jules Rimet Trophy could be won permanently by a nation after 3 titles. FIFA wanted the new trophy to belong not to one country, but to football itself. From that moment on, no matter how many World Cups a nation won, the original trophy would always return to FIFA, ensuring that the world's greatest prize could never disappear into history again. In 1971, FIFA announced an international design competition. 53 sculptors from around the globe submitted their visions. But one design stood out with breathtaking clarity. It was the work of an Italian artist named Silvio Gazzaniga. Gazzaniga did not want to create another static goddess. He wanted to capture the kinetic energy, the exhaustion, and the absolute elation of the exact moment of victory. His design featured 2 athletes, their bodies spiraling upward in a moment of supreme triumph, their hands reaching out to hold the entire globe. It was cast in 18-karat gold, resting on a base of vibrant green malachite. But with this new masterpiece came a new unbreakable rule. To ensure that the world would never again lose its greatest prize, FIFA decreed that no nation would ever keep the original trophy. Regardless of how many times a country wins the tournament, the solid gold sculpture always returns to FIFA's vault in Switzerland. The champions are given a bronze replica, plated in gold, to take home. Very few fans realize this. The image celebrated around the world belongs only to that fleeting moment. If you enjoy discovering the hidden stories behind football's greatest moments, consider subscribing. Every week, we uncover the legends, mysteries, and forgotten history that shaped the beautiful game. Soon after, the original begins its journey back to FIFA once again. The trophy lifted by champions always returns home. It belongs to no one, which means it belongs to everyone. But its true value has never been measured in gold. Over the decades, Gazzaniga's creation has transcended its physical form to become a mirror reflecting the human condition. It is the reason millions of children kick worn-out footballs in dusty alleys, on frozen pitches, and across sun-baked beaches. They close their eyes and imagine the weight of it in their hands. This is the object that watched Diego Maradona conquer the world in 1986, carrying the hopes of a recovering nation on his shoulders. It is the goal that reflected the tears of Ronaldo in 2002, after injuries had nearly destroyed his career. It is the prize that waited for Lionel Messi in the desert night of 2022, the final piece of a lifelong puzzle that required him to bleed, fail, and rise again before he could finally touch it. It waited patiently for Lionel Messi through years of criticism, painful defeats, and impossible expectations until one unforgettable night in Qatar transformed doubt into eternity. No single generation owns the World Cup. Each generation merely steps onto the stage to write one more chapter in a story that began a century ago. The players grow old. The stadiums are rebuilt. The tactics evolve. But the image of a human being pushed to the absolute limit of their physical and emotional endurance, finally lifting that gold above their head, remains entirely unchanged. Perhaps the greatest victory was never won inside a stadium. Perhaps the greatest victory was convincing generation after generation that impossible dreams are still worth chasing. The stadium falls silent for a single heartbeat. Then, the captain lifts the golden trophy toward the sky and billions of people celebrate together. When you look at that image now, you do not just see a piece of sculpted metal. You see the shadow of a world war. You see an Italian official hiding a showbox under his bed. You see the frantic streets of London and the dog named Pickles. You see the ghosts of 1970, the tragedy of a melted goddess, and the birth of a new dream. The original Jules Rimet Trophy may have vanished into the fires of a thief's furnace. A new trophy may have taken its place. But the dream it represents has not changed by a single fraction. Because the true power of the World Cup was never in the gold. It was never in the Malahite base. It has always been in the sport's miraculous ability to stop time, to freeze a fractured world for 1 month every 4 years, and to unite generations through a single, enduring image. A child looking at a golden trophy and believing that anything is possible. Long after today's champions are gone, another child will look at that same trophy. Another impossible dream will begin, and football will write another chapter. Because legends grow old, but dreams never do. If you could witness just one moment in the history of the World Cup trophy, which would it be? The showbox in Rome, Pickles finding the trophy, or Pelé lifting it in 1970? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to read your choice.